Salutations everyone, welcome back. It's your boy Shoto with another video. This one's going to be quick and to the point mostly. But I just wanted to showcase a replay of a duel I had on the ladder the other day. This is actually a pretty cool duel in my opinion, pretty anime. So, you know, I was using Yugi with a Destiny draw, and I was running Aramages this time, with a few spicy techs thrown in there. But I was going up against Rex Raptor and Dinos, of course. So I go second, which isn't too bad, but it gives him a chance to set up. Dinosaur Kingdom. Now, I opened up pretty well here. See, I've got an Econ for defense. I've got an Elector, which is an ultra rare from the latest box, Clash of Wings. And basically, if my opponent controls two or more face-up monsters of the same attribute, so like Earth for Dinos, or Dark for Heroes in the hero matchup, then I can special summon it. So it's a free special summon, and once per turn, I can target a face-up card and negate its effects during this turn. So this can be used to help stop my own monster's destructive effects, or even to cancel out my opponent's field spell, which you will see me do a couple of times throughout the duel. And I've got two Jasmines, 1900 defense, so it's a good first turn set, especially behind this Econ. And when I gain HP, I draw a card, so that's draw power. And when my life points are higher, I can normal summon another plant monster. So it gives me another normal summon. So he sets 3 and summons out a 1900 Hydrogeddon. So my turn, set Jasmine of course, and then set Econ. Not going to take any risks, not going to run into his back row because it could be Wall of D, Mirror Wall, Econ. So crash into the Jasmine, which is good. Unfortunately, I still don't draw into my field spell, which would have really helped. So I just had another Jasmine. But of course he Econs it. And then this play right here. Not only did he summon a 2150 Evil Storm Salamandra, which was able to cover both my Jasmines, but he cheeses it out with the anti-magic arrows, which throws a wrench into my plans because I was planning to Econ this into defense, and then all he had to do was kill the Jasmine, and then I could go from there. But he pushes for some good damage here. And because of the effect, also get another Hydrogeddon. And then he attacks. And then swings directly. So I've taken 3700 damage by turn 5. How am I going to bring it back? Well, just find out and see. Because fortunately, this allows me to proc my Destiny draw. And so through the heart of the cards, I decided to go for a Xingzhen Hu, which will allow me to pin his 2 back row, hopefully at the end of this turn. And, you know, if they were both Wall of Ds, then they wouldn't be chainable, and then I could just run him over for game next turn. But in this case, I just negate his Lost World, set the Xing, and end my turn. It's not looking too well, but fortunately he can't attack over this right now. In his draw phase, I pop the Xing, but in response, he's running some spicy tech of his own. He activates United Front. So, you know, when a trap card is activated where you control 2 or more face-up monsters at the same level, negate the activation and destroy it. This is pretty spicy right here. Considering he's running all level 4 dinos, no tributes, no nothing, it's just dinos, back row, and then back row protection. This is pretty good. I have to give him props for running this. So negates the Xing. So unfortunately I don't get to pin both his back row, but I only pin 1. And since he's only running 1, for some reason he's probably afraid that this is a Wall of D, which would totally ruin his day. And we're about even in card advantage. I mean, if you don't count the field spell, but he's got more cards than I do. But Well of D would definitely ruin his day, so he doesn't do anything here. And he doesn't have an econ, because that would have just ended the game already. So, start of the turn, I pinned his Lost World, and you see, we drew Aroma Garden, but we can't do anything with it yet, because we don't have any other low-level Aramages. So, we're just going to bide our time. And luckily we draw into a Rosemary, which will allow me to get the healing started and to proc the effects to switch into defense. However, if he's running Wall of D, that would ruin our day. And considering this is beat down dinos, we're not going to take that chance. He sets 2 more, so he's got a full back row, advantage in life points, advantage in monsters, and card advantage in general. And he could even have another United Front. So we're kind of in dire straits here. However, we do have the advantage with a 2400 monster on board, an econ set, and we've got, you know, the constant healing, plus kind of the healing protection through the Aroma Garden field spell. So if they do somehow destroy the Aramage Rosemary, we'll still get that 1000 life point gain. So that's good. Draw into another field spell, which is good in case he destroys the first one, or if I want to get a double heal to push for game. But at this point, yeah, draw another Rosemary, heals, double Rosemary proc. This would be really helpful if he didn't have any back row, or I had a way to destroy his back row, but I don't. So it switches back to attack. And at this point, it's just kind of a stall grindy game. I'm just waiting for my life points to be higher so I can go in and attack with my Rosemaries, which would stop his monster effects, but not back row effects. But, oh, and this time he pushes, and it looks like his face down was Blast with Chain, an SR super rare from Clash of Wings as well, I believe. It's a trap equip, so you can activate it in the damage step, which is the latest activation time, which is pretty good. If this card is destroyed by a card effect while equipped, target a card on the field and destroy it. So it's got its own, I wouldn't say protection, but it's more of a countermeasure type card, because it allows him to, it's like its own protection. So if I destroy it with like Dice Moon or something like that, a card effect, he can still pop a monster on my side of the field. Or he could pop it himself and go for like a 2-for-1 type deal. So he attacks, swings over Rosemary for 100, but because of the field spell I get 1000, so it's plus 900, and since it's healing, able to get the Rosemary switch effect. Alright, and this right here, Solemn Scolding, this is a pretty good card, at least in Aromages, because yeah, it's a steep cost and kind of a strict activation requirement. It has to be the only set card, the only set back row. But it stops monster summons, spells, traps, and monster effects. So it's basically an omni negate for only 3,000 life points. And in any other deck, it would be very detrimental, and you can only activate it like when you're at full health, basically 4,000 life points or higher. But since Aromages gain so much life points, see, I'm already back to 3,700. So it's not that much of a detriment to me at all. I'm only running 1 because 2 could get kind of bricky, and also don't have 2. But I think running 1 is a really good spicy take. It can help stop their playmakers, like in spellbooks for hires, so on and so forth. It can help stop like anything they try to do, at least for that turn. And then you can just use your big body Aromages to push for game that turn. So activate the second field spell. This might have been a misplay here. If he had like Dice Moon or Cosmic Cyclone set, he could have just taken out the second field spell, and then I would have been kind of in dire straits since I wouldn't have had a way to heal. But also another tech that I'm running is Monster Reborn. Since this deck doesn't have any graveyard recursion or anything, it doesn't even rely on cards being in the graveyard, mostly just on the field. Monster Reborn is a good way for me to get my Aromages back should they be destroyed, and it's like a free special summon basically. It's like watered down Monster Reborn, but it's pretty good. Don't really care about the banish because again, we're not recurring anything from our graveyard. So I picked 3, and of course he chose Jasmine because the weakest of attack, so he could just econ attack and switch it. But I'm going with Jasmine because she gets 2400 defense with the Aroma Garden boost. And activated again since it's the second Aroma Garden. So it's 2900, so we can't get over anything I have right now unless he has Econ. But even then, I have too many life points to spare. And I also activate the Aroma Garden boost again to get more card draws. So I draw into another Rosemary, and I use Jasmine's Tribute effect. It's extra normal summon to get Bergamot, the arguable boss monster of the deck. Now, I'm not running Rose Lover. I couldn't find a way to fit her into the deck list. But this is kind of just a trial testing tool. Basically, Bergamot is just a beater, doesn't have any protection, doesn't have any extra effects, except piercing, I guess. Which can be good, but in such a back row heavy meta, it's not as viable as it once was. So yeah, activate Elector, and this is when I decided to push. After negating Lost World, negates his boost for the turn. I could be running into a wall of D, but at this point they're so boosted, and I have 2 back row to compensate. I think I'm doing pretty well. Now, a misplay, or a possible misplay on my part. See, I could have Econned this into attack, 1 to get some damage, and although it would have been less damage because of non-piercing, but 2, because then I would have had only 1 set card so I could activate the Solemn Scolding. But in response, he chains Draining Shield. So he gains a whopping 3,400 life points and negates the attack. So Rosemary gets the kill, Elector gets another kill, and now he's down to 1 monster, 1 face down. The field spell, which isn't really a problem, and about 5 cards in hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're dead even in card advantage. But right now I had the better board presence because I have a counter trap and an Econ if I want to go for some Econ take shenanigans. However, he sets 2 more and summons Sabersaurus. Normally a 1900 beater, but under Lost World makes it 2200. So now, activate the field spell, want to gain some more life points. But now, truthfully, we're just back to the grind game because he's got too much back row. I don't have the negation, but I swing anyways. Windstorm of Itaqua, and then he changed his own Xing Zhenhu. So this is kind of bad because now, of course, trying to pin down our Econ, and more importantly, our Solemn Scolding are the only one we have in the deck. So we're not able to use it. It's quite sad. So I'm forced to chain Econ just to save me some back row space, and so he doesn't get any attacks in. At this point, now that everything's in defense, my defense isn't the strongest, and now is when he decides to try and push. He goes Curse of Anubis. Might have been a misplay here. I don't know. He just switched his own Hedragon to defense. I guess it could have been good in case this was a wall of D, but he already pinned it, so it's probably a misplay on his part. He probably could have pushed for more damage here. He activates his Econ. Oh, right. Tributes off the Hedrageddon, and of course steals my Bergamot, which now has piercing because of Aroma Garden. So luckily he only gets 900. Attacks with Sabersaurus, killing the Rosemary. Of course I gain 1,000, so it helps mitigate the cost of it, and I take another 2,200. So now all that's left is my boss monster, Bergamot. I've got it in 1 last Econ, and then I draw into another Rose Garden. So at this point, I'm just trying to stall. I don't really have any more power plays left to me. It's just more or less beatdown. However, it looks like this back row wasn't chainable at all. I don't know what it was, but there was no delays at all. So, could have been a bluff, could have been, I don't know, probably was a bluff considering he'd run so much more back row. But yeah, this is kind of a risky play. If that was Wall of D, I was probably done. But it wasn't. So now, he's pretty much cleared his whole board. We're running out of cards here. 4 cards left in the deck. Sets another face down, but at this point I'm not afraid of it because I can just, if it's Wall of D, I can just play around it, set Rosemary or Bergamot to defense, attack with Rosemary, just piece away at him per game. I guess if it's 2 Wall of Ds, that could be a problem, but I don't know. Set the Econ. We've drawn to Mirror Wall here, which would have helped us way earlier in the game, but unfortunately does not. Push for 3,900. And at this point, he's down to a top deck situation because his back row is not chainable. Summons out Salamandra, but I econ it as soon as it hits the field. Here we go. Aroma Garden boost. Rosemary switch. Bergamot boost. Alright. Playing around the Wall of D, which was the right call. It was indeed a Wall of D. He can't get over my Bergamot, 3,300 defense, too large. And we draw into Paleozoic Canadia, another one of that I've tossed into my deck, pretty much every deck. It's basically Book of Moon, target a face-up monster, switch to face-down defense, stops for higher plays, stops spellbook plays, stops hero plays, although hero is not as much, but it can stop Anki once it's out on the field, it can stop Blue Boy from going off with his into secrets, knowledge, power, shenanigans, stops for hires, definitely stops first turn, beat into Dyna, into Wiz, into whatever. Canadian's pretty good. If I had another, I'd play it, definitely. I'd probably play it at 2 in this deck, but at 1, it's pretty good. But I definitely play it over Mirror Wall right here, because it's just so good. Like, switch it into face down defense, they can't really do much, especially on summon. It stops activated effects. Against dinos, it wouldn't do all that much, but it would still be pretty good. And my turn, 3 sets, 2 of which are activatable, 1 is pinned. So I flip Canadia here, but it looks like he's carrying another United Front. I respect it. Unfortunately, he negates Canadia, which doesn't do much, and it sends it to the grave, so there's another trap. Then due to the Paleozoic effect, it can just come back to the field. Not too big of a loss, which is great because there's like no reason for me to activate it, mostly just to bait out what his back row was. And now confirmed with no other defensive back row, I can now go into Rosemary, into double Bergamot, and then this is when I can push for game finally. No cards left in the deck, 1 card left in his deck, but we clutch it out. Get the double boost, go for the double Aroma Garden, and with 4,400 we swing for 22, and that is game. It's a pretty good duel. It was a pretty good duel. I really liked it. So that was about it for today's video. You know, I will be putting out more Duel Links content because I love this game so much. Probably reviewing more decks that I've made, just showcasing everything. But yeah, so if you like what you see, you know, want more Duel Links content, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below what your favorite part was, and I'll see you guys next time.